A very good morning and welcome back to another daily market outlook. Euro USD dropped down lower together with the dollar pushing up higher, which was good for New Zealand dollar shorts, AUDUSD shorts, and of course pound dollar shorts as well, which we discussed live on stream yesterday. Now, these are the major news announcements that have taken place, guys. The Central Bank of New Zealand said that it is projected that interest rates will bottom out at around 2.5%, indicating that there is still room for further interest rate cuts. At the moment, interest rates are at 3%. Meaning that they're going to probably still cut with 0.5%, and that has caused a lot of weakness for the New Zealand dollar. Furthermore, the UK inflation numbers for consumer came in 0.1% higher than expected. Expected was 3.7, but it came at 3.8, and the FOMC meeting minutes will take place later today. But for now, this has caused GBP to push up higher, and this first announcement has caused NZD to push down lower. Now, looking at Euro USD, what can we see, guys? Now, first of all, we are still within this area of daily demand. Overall price has not really moved too much. We have, of course, seen some downside movement, but we are still within this overall sell before the buy up. Therefore, demand is still fighting with this area of supply. At the moment, this is still the swing low, this is still the swing high, and this is the break of structure. After grabbing liquidity internally over here and retracing back down in towards 0.5 fib over here, we can see that we got the V-shaped reversal back in towards the highs, as there was somewhat of an internal order flow taking place here in towards the upside. Now, we're waiting to see what happens within this area of demand. Is Euro USD ready to continue up higher, or will we break the daily fractal low and then look for potential shorts? As I've been mentioning all week, shorts will take place when the current fractal low breaks, and then I'll be happy to short back down towards the NFP low. If this area of demand does hold and we do break the fractal high once again, I'll be looking to trade up higher in towards around that 119 level, which is on the weekly time frame, this overall blue dotted line, which is the main liquidity high that we have here at the top of all of these descending highs. So that for now is my game plan on Euro USD. But as I mentioned, guys, in yesterday's video as well, if you were paying attention, there were two other pairs that were looking better. But before I dive into those pairs, real quick one here on the dollar index. The dollar index overall gave us some upside momentum with the bullish daily candle close yesterday. We can still clearly see that the overall imbalance candle here pushed the market up higher and is still in control. And furthermore, that the daily fractal is still bullish as well, with this being the fractal low, this being the fractal high, and the internal trend being bullish as well. Now, you guys know my perspective on this. The weekly fractal is bullish, and we are inside a weekly area of demand. So I'm favoring that next push in towards the upside. On the monthly as well, we're inside the monthly imbalance, and we're also on the third trendline touch of this monthly trend line. Now, what could go wrong is then the next thing that you could say. Well, here on the 4-hour time frame, we are still relatively slow. Now, on the 4-hour time frame, this is currently demand that is in control. So I'm looking for the overall order flow here on the 4-hour time frame to continue pushing the market up higher. As we can see, break of structure, and we're just looking for this to continue up higher. But for me, the real confirmation that we want to head up higher is once this internal trend here is broken. Okay, so again, consolidation over here is supply, push the market down. Consolidation over here is then supply, again, has been kind of suppressing price, preventing price from really pushing up higher. So once this consolidation zone, and therefore this high over here, gets broken, then I'll have a lot more confirmation that we're ready to at least push back up in towards this high over here, or even in towards that NFP high is then what I'll be looking at, in line with the weekly fractal and the daily fractal structure as well. Okay, now guys, the two most beautiful pairs, and again, by the way, before I dive in, thank you for all the birthday wishes yesterday and the day before, really means a lot. But starting here with AUDUSD on the daily time frame, it is so picture perfect, this setup. I've been talking about it for so long, and I'm so happy that it played out to this perfection, where daily fractal is bearish, so that's confluence point number one. So market structure is bearish. Number two, we grab liquidity above this high, which is the first high of all of these descending highs, kind of like what I just explained on Euro USD. So we grab the liquidity, the daily fractal structure is bearish, so the market structure is bearish. We have this as the overall buy up for the sell down, breaking market structure, and therefore our supply, we refine the supply to these wicks over here. Market taps into those wicks, then we go to the lower time frame, we retrace into premium pricing, And then what do we get within that supply zone? We get the perfect 4-hour fractal change of character. This is a strong supply zone because it liquidated this little high here to the left before selling off aggressively in towards the downside. We get the ascending channel in towards the upside, and then just a beautiful short and a beautiful 1 to 3 risk to reward. Not much else that I can say, and I'm now just looking to trade this down lower in towards that NFP low. I'm personally out of this position, but congratulations if you took it as well, because yeah, we really highly anticipated on this trade setup. So overall, next kind of like target is this blue dotted line, and then from there we'll kind of like reevaluate the overall position. Then guys, GU. So GU obviously has been pushing in towards the highs due to that bullish consumer inflation data that came out this morning at 8:30 a.m. Central Eastern Time. Now, looking at GU, obviously we've been talking about this for quite some time as well. So congratulations. I even talked about a 1-hour short position over here, which reached around 2% profit yesterday on stream. So congratulations again to a lot of the traders that took that position. I didn't share too much charts because I didn't want to screw up the position, but overall beautiful. Now that's why, by the way, you should join the live streams, guys, on Tuesday and Thursday at New York Open, because that's just really where the value is being shared. Now the market obviously came again in towards an overall weekly swing high here to the left with this ascending structure, very similar to what we saw in AUDUSD, but then within the overall retracement itself on the lower time frame, right? This is the daily time frame. So you really see that these price patterns work so well, and I really urge you to use them, because yeah, for myself they just work perfectly. Now here, 1, 2, 3 come into that liquidity high, then here the daily change of character, that is the start of the overall push down. Here, break of structure down, swing high, swing low, market retraces again in towards premium pricing, so into the gray zone. Then what happens is that we take out this as the liquidity high. So we have liquidity, we have premium pricing, we have daily bearish market structure from this high in towards this low. So we then have all those confluences for that short position in towards the downside. And then you can just see here on the lower time frame, being the 4-hour, that after taking out that liquidity grab, we get the 4-hour change of character over here. And that is then where you enter the position, and then at its peak again, the overall position trading at around 3%. Then yesterday, the overall 1-hour skill in, which I discussed as well, where all of the liquidity gets grabbed above this overall high over here, and then the 1-hour change of character. And that is then again the confirmation that price wants to head down lower. Now, obviously, price is now rebounding with that positive CPI news. Let's see where we end kind of today. The dollar needs to get stronger as well. That's why price is also pushing up. Let's see what the dollar does. If the dollar can start pushing up again, then GBPUSD should fall once again. But this position has now been milked, and yeah, I would not re-enter at the moment anymore. We'll have to reevaluate. Now, NZDUSD, guys, what an absolute beautiful call this has been. I have called this again for days and days and days. Overall, NZDUSD sold off because the New Zealand dollar got weaker after the interest rates talks. And again, you guys know it. I've been saying this for such a long time. Area of consolidation, range high, and then we're targeting the range low. Price retraces in towards the 618. Now, again, guys, market structure. Bearish fractal high, bearish fractal low. Market retraces into the 618. Again, go to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour, again, you're seeing this happen with the overall ascending channel. We have the first high over here, second high, third high, and then the sell-off in towards the downside. Just failed to make the connection with the overall buy up before the sell down, but still overall, yeah, if you just play the overall momentum, a beautiful play in towards the downside, especially if you looked at this area of supply to then further short NZDUSD in towards the downside with the stops above the highs. A very fast 1 to 3 risk to reward. So congratulations if you took that. Been discussing that for ages, and now somewhere over here price should find support to eventually pull back. And then, guys, USD Swiss, USD Yen, and Gold. So USD Swiss still consolidating, still a pair that I'm not a fan of trading, so staying out of this personally. No further explanation really needed. USDJPY, what can we see there? Also very similar, no explanation needed. Fake out on the range low, fake out on the range high. Don't waste your time on this. And then, of course, gold. Now, gold is coming or has come into interesting levels. Overall, we have this range, right? So the overall price action is extremely rangy. We've come into the lower bound of the range. We were in the higher bound of the range. Here we have demand within the overall sub for the buy. This is then your refined demand zone, and we're at the lower bound of the range. Price is kind of like squeezing in towards the downside, so at some point in time I do expect something of a rebound up higher. We've now come into this refined area of demand, so yeah, we got the first 4-hour change of character here, so I'm now keeping my eyes open on potentially looking for somewhat of a break up higher. So yeah, but do keep in mind it could manipulate one more time in towards the downside, but I am already keeping my eyes open for somewhat potential longs. But the overall market structure is still so bearish. You would need to break this high if you would really want to have some higher probability longs, but if you want, you can kind of like get some aggressive longs in, just not my personal cup of tea. But yeah, 4-hour change of character is now taking place, therefore this is demand, so yeah, price could give us something of a rebound up higher from that demand zone. That is the only trade that I see, and that is the updates for today. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining. Keep an eye on the Discord, guys. Tomorrow, massive announcement inside Discord, so make sure to be inside, because that is where I'm going to be announcing something very interesting that I can't wait to announce. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Wish you all a fantastic day. Don't forget to leave a like and comment underneath the video, guys, if you appreciate these market outlooks, because it just means a lot that you guys watch them, and then I know that you're actually watching them as well. So yeah, thanks and bye.